Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about recent important news with their companies. With us today, I'm happy to have again Bernard Tourillon, Chairman and CEO of HPQ-Silicon Resources, trades on the venture under HPQ, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under UGE. You've seen Bernard many times in this show, and that's because he's always putting out great news. We have press releases we want to talk to you about. But for those of you who are new to the story first and don't know the company all that well, HPQ is planning on becoming a vertically integrated solar-grade silicon metal producer. The company is developing a disruptive, one-step, high-purity, and solar-grade silicon metal manufacturing process with a goal of manufacturing actual solar cells. Now, more than just lip service, the company also has two unbelievable technology partners by its side. The first, as many of you know, PyroGenesis Canada, a global leader in plasma torch technologies, whose technology right now is being used on U.S. aircraft carriers, so they know what they're doing. In addition to that, Apollon Solar, one of the world's leaders in renewable energies, including some impressive world records on the solar cell side of things. If the company is successful with this process, they're going to be able to reduce capital costs and operating costs by as much as 90%, creating cost advantages never seen before in the industry. So that's HPQ. What's the news we're talking about? Here's a headline came out yesterday. I'm going to read it. Pardon my read. HPQ Silicon reports 1,900% increase in total mass of silicon metal produced by their Gen 2 Pure VAP versus their Gen 1 results. Bernard, let's talk about it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, George.
All right. 1,000. I got a dichotomy of numbers here. First, 1,900% increase. Who doesn't like that? That's a great achievement. That's fantastic. But on the flip side, that 1,900% increase was up to 28.1. Let's just call it 28 grams. Tell us the importance of how great one is and how you still have to size up at the end of the day.
Just go back to realizing that originally the Gen 1, because we're testing the same parameters, okay? What we're trying to demonstrate is our process work and we can scale it up. So when we use those operating parameters, we produce 1 gram, okay? We're now producing 28 grams. The Gen 2 isn't designed to resolve all the issues of the world and all the process that we're trying to do. The Gen 2 is designed to show that the process works in a commercial scale and operates in a semi-continuous mode and that we're moving forward. That's all what it's designed for, and that's what it's accomplishing. So I just wanted to report that to shareholders, and I wanted to give them an idea. There is so many numbers, so many parameters to test and everything else. I can't deliver on everything else, but I'm just trying to bring a little bit of an idea of the concept. When we started this process, we had, PyroGenesis and us had an idea how to do this, and it's panning out and it's working.
Now, here's the question I have for you. It's working, and there's a plan here, and I'm going to read a quote. So I'm going to hop around a little bit. What your objective is, and I'm reading your quote, to produce a solar-grade silicon metal necessary for the manufacture of monocrystalline solar cells. But before that, you're getting ready in 2018 to commence the pilot plant phase. So how significant or successful was this result in order for you to continue planning for the pilot plant phase?
No, it's massive in the sense that we're executing on the plan and getting the results that were anticipated and moving forward. So that increases our confidence level when we're going to have the pilot plant. And now with the guys of Apollon, what we've truly learned is that the process that we're developing, which is a metallurgic process, okay, has gone a tremendous way. It's been proven by other companies, including Apollon, that to work. It's not the same thing as the UMG, a good old time of Temenko and everything else. Like it's not your brother's Temenko. We are talking a different class, a different level, a different concept. Now, this being said, whenever you start talking about UMG, everybody keeps bringing back the Temenko, the fiasco, and everything else. So there is a de-risking process of what we're doing and where we're going. Now, with the guys of Apollon and with the guys of Pyrogenesis now working together, we have a very clear idea where we're going to go, and we know that we can reach those goals. Okay. Now, we know this internally. We know how we're going to get there, and we're working on reaching that. One of those steps to do is to build the pilot plant, okay, that will be big enough to give us the material needed to start building solar cells and demonstrating to the world that we can do this. And that's what we're doing. The PureVap Gen 2 is designed to help us to start testing parameters, start understanding, improving some of the conceptual idea where we were looking for. All right. It's a step that we've decided to add in the middle of our process, but it ends up giving us a lot of data points to move forward, and it reduces the risk of what's going on. One of the biggest risks we had that people were very skeptical about was basically, could we work in a continuous fashion? Could we actually produce more material by just playing around with the size? It's like every basically block that people put in our ways, we are getting rid of them and moving forward. I joke internally that for an R&D project, we're working at warp speed. The problem is, for retail investors, it sounds like turtle speed. That's all what it is.
But the payoff is big, though. But the payoff is big.
George,
and I want to talk to you about that because there's another dichotomy of numbers here. Mm-hmm. So on the one hand, it states these results support the expectation that under semi-continuous process, assuming a production yield of 90%, that's the dichotomy I want to ask you about. It would be possible to transform quartz into silicon metal with purity levels acceptable to the solar industry, and you talk about 4N plus 99.998%. So that sounds fantastic, and I really love the sounds of that. But you did say assuming a standard production yield of 90%, but in the press release you also mentioned the Gen 2s achieved a maximum production yield of 15%, plus or minus 3. That's a long way off from 90%. Is it as a long way off as I see it, 90 to 15, or is this closer than it appears?
It's closer than it appears. And, in the same press release, we clearly stated, and Peter's already stated that publicly, that there's a correlation between the size of the reactor and the production yield. And that we've proven that. There's a lot of literature on the subject. So we feel, and when I say we, I mean Pyrogenesis, because whenever I speak technically, basically I'm just channeling Pyrogenesis. Of course. That's the way it is. We feel very comfortable that once we're going to have the pilot plant in operation, we will be able to reach the 90% yield, which is what the standard reactors or standard arc furnace are moving forward. So for us, it's an intermediary step, okay? And for us to be able to reach that threshold, to be close to the maximum capacity of the Pure 1 Gen 2 reactor means, okay, we're on the right track. That's all what we're looking for, okay? We've come to discover that contrary to what we believed when we started, to make high-efficiency solar cell, you don't need 6N, 7N on everything else. You need to have a specific purities, specific material, dopants, and everything else, okay? And that's why we did the deal with Apollon. Okay? We got our hand on massive amount of R&D, and people that have 20 years of experience of just doing that, PhD on just purifying silicone and doing all those type of things. So it's like whenever you're listening to this, you're taking a master class on how to make it. Not that the guys at Pyros aren't smart enough to figure it out, but why the hell reinvent the wheel? Okay. Now, I get told many times, why is the market not seeing this? Well, because we're just starting. We announced this in December. We're starting to get results. We're starting to implement the things. I'm more focus right now on making sure that we're implementing to get everything ready, because we've learned from our Gen 1 experience that we've got to make sure all the processes are pretty well in line. And that's what I'm more focused on. But very, very soon, I'll be starting, and some people saw the publicity we did on and everything else. Very, very soon, I'm going to start out and go back and talk to the market and go sell the story one-on-one and get people to truly realize, because fundamentally what we're doing, we're taking a raw material, okay, that's worth 5 cents a kilogram. That's what a quartz is worth, okay? A solar cell is 100% Si, thinly sliced, okay? And that sells for an equivalent value of $51 a kilogram. That's what I'm shooting for.
So, I put this on Twitter the other day. You're taking raw quartz and turning it into solar gold.
Well, yeah, it's $51 a kilogram, the selling value of that, okay? How does it get there? Because it's a multi-step, very expensive process, okay? And it's very nice. Yes, President Trump has decided to put, we're going to put tariff on solar cell. There's no solar cell manufacturers left in the U.S. Yeah, it's very nice. The Chinese company says, I'm going to open a solar cell in the U.S. What do you think is going to happen when people realize how much pollution that thing does? Social acceptability is not going to be there. So those are all issues that we're addressing, and we're moving forward on those issues.
Yeah, and it wasn't addressed in this press release, but for someone that's new, just in 30 seconds, we won't go too up on tangent, but you actually eliminate all the chemicals and all the dangerous parts of the dangerous environmental dirty parts of the process that's taking place on the conventional side, right?
Yes, that is the plan, to eliminate all of them. It looks like it's feasible. We're going to attain them, and we're actually working with Pyrogenesis about even attaining another objective. What few people realize, okay, right now, if you buy a solar cell that comes from China, and I had that information confirmed by a Chinese solar cell manufacturer, okay, it takes 5 years of your solar system running for you to eliminate the CO2, the carbon cost of it. Jeez. So if you think you're green getting a solar cell, for the first 5 years, you're as green as getting a diesel generator to do it, okay? What we're working...
You and I have never discussed that.
No, it's because it's one of those... As we move forward, as we understand more in the market, it's time to go present those issues to people. I know where we are in the development. I'm actually, when I look at my competitors and where they are and where we are, okay, I am surprised how I'm not that far away from where they are. Okay, I'm maybe 2-3 years from multinational trying to do something a different route, and I'm pretty surprised at that. And when we're going to succeed, because I don't doubt, the guys at Power, we're going to succeed. It's going to move forward. It's a bit like, I'll bring this a bit of a parallel to what Power does with the draw site. Quebec has a lot of aluminum companies, big companies, right? None of them were fundamentally interested at the beginning of the draw site project, even though it represents a lot of saving. Why? It's a new technology. It took somebody else to try to start it, and it's going to start, and then it's going to build, and it'll be crescendo, and everybody says, we need that system. That's how it's going to build. It's going to be the same thing for what we're doing. There's going to be a crescendo, and people are going to realize that it works. And, and then there's so many other applications that we're seeing, I've read the presentation from our competitor, Ferroglobe, and they're clearly saying that IN purity material, which basically we're talking 3N, 4N in the silicone business, is the way of the future. Just for silicone lithium batteries, for other types of material. Well, we're immediately in that space. We're immediately in that space from the get-go. We get there from start to go, and that we've already proven this. So I think we're in a good space. I think I'm in a good space to go tell the story and get people to understand. And that's the way it works. And truthfully,
tell the story. Do you wait until the pilot plant is actually operating, and then, because you can invite people to see it? Is that the optimal?
No, because to get people to get seated, I got to make them sign long, tough documents. It's only going to be like really serious investors and those type of things. But I'm going to go out there and market the story. The truth of the matter is, when the stock performed very, very well all the way to the beginning of last year, was because until December 2016, I was out there selling the story. Now, we all know why. There was an event that happened in my life, why I had to stop and everything else. And when I came back, when I looked at the situation, I says, okay, we have a few, let's get everything, our ducks very well lined up, and which we did. The Gen 1 results were phenomenal, but they took longer to get than we thought. As I told you, we've learned a lot, so I've diminished giving timelines. Sorry, guys, it's just diminished giving timeline. We just reached the goal and move forward. In our own internal timeline, we're moving forward. And as I said, for an R&D project, we're moving at warp speed. Sorry, retail investors, it's equivalent to turtle speed.
Now, last question for you.
Yeah.
So I've kind of hit you on the dichotomy. So now I want to talk about blue sky a little bit. A couple of dichotomies. I want to hit you on blue sky.
Mm-hmm.
You say in the press release, in your quote,
mm-hmm.
all of this is going to prepare you to produce the solar grade silicon metal necessary for the manufacture of multi and monocrystalline solar cells
mm-hmm.
for high performance photovoltaic conversion. So this is the blue sky now. With these results, how much closer are you to achieving that goal?
It's a continuing tangent. Well, I'll just share some of internal conversation that we had with the guys at Apollon, the guys at Power Genesis. If we reach the target mines that we reach there, and we're moving toward that goal, we are there. This being said, are we able to make solar cells right now? You can't make a solar cell with 28 grams. We know that. But it's much better than when we started this. When we started this project, when we proved the concept, okay, when we had those results that got everybody excited, we were producing dick. Excuse the term. That's really what we're producing.
Okay. Well, you always got to swear.
And at that moment,
I was worried that you hadn't sworn yet, so that's good.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's the truth. And at that moment, everybody got excited. We're producing this. Now we're producing massive chunk. We're still able to repeat it. Going from a lab scale. Well, that's what few people don't realize. Lab scale is easy in a certain way, because in the lab scale, you can do things that you can't do in industrial scale. So that's why people get tremendous, fantastic results at lab scale. And when you go to commercial scalability, it doesn't work. Well, we've already dealt with semi-continuous feed on a regular basis, increasing the yield, increasing the production yield. We've already proven this on a small scale, pretty darn good. So we feel very confident that when we're going to go to the pilot plant, and it's going to be moving forward. Now we're working on repeating. Now what we're really working is repeating the process and getting the recipe down for what we're shooting to do. And that's what, listen, we produce with the same basic fundamental recipe. We went from producing 1 gram, 19 grams to 28 grams. It looks promising. That's all what I can say. But I feel very comfortable.
Where's the number? And I got to figure Apollon Solar didn't come on, and if I remember correctly, they took their first set of compensation in stock, no?
Yes. But
right. So this is where I start to put together the pieces and say, Apollon Solar comes on, they even take their first payment in stock. They've got to be feeling pretty good about where you're going as well. So we'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Some big numbers that some big increases that you've reported.
Mm-hmm.
The small numbers are getting bigger, which is great. So, and we don't have a timeline on the pilot plant, but that's obviously, I mean, you keep saying that over and over in the press releases. That's where we're getting to. You're getting ready to commence the pilot plant phase with our solar silicon team, right? I read a lot into that, because I don't think your team wants you saying things like that if you're not, in fact, preparing for that as a real objective. We
all as a team feel very comfortable that we're heading in the right direction. Okay, it's like, as Peter said, there's going to be bumps on the road, but c'est la vie. You learn from them. As one of the engineers at Pyro said when they were doing some tests on another process, not ours, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity we're trying to resolve, and that's the way R&D works. They don't call it research and destroy for nothing at Pyro.
Yeah, but I got to admit, if you're doing it on your own, I still think it'd be really shaky. But you've got Power Genesis.
If we're doing it on our own, we would be nowhere. Okay, let's be realistic. Look at all the other companies that have tried to do it on their own,
and they blow up.
It doesn't work.
No, that's what makes me feel great. Look, like I said at the outset of this, pyrogenesis technology is used right on U.S. aircraft carriers. The most expensive real estate on the planet are U.S. aircraft carriers. Not only that, but the most protected, most rigorously reviewed technology in the world is if you're going to be on the U.S. aircraft. They know what they're doing. They're signing NDAs with aircraft engine manufacturers. Pyro is a fantastic, proven partner. And Apollon Solar, they're one of the world's leaders in renewable energy. So that gives me great comfort, and I just can't wait for the next press release. That's what it comes down to. It's just moving that ball. Now we're moving that ball. And you know what? I think when the pilot plant comes online, all that's I think when everyone says, okay, whatever we've been waiting for. Not me, but I think that's what the masses will do, and that's what typically happens in the small cap space.
Yeah. But it's like anything else. You just need to have one big believer that's going to start coming in and showing it, and then it's going to completely move everything else. The truth of the matter is, George, we love to talk about this story, but we're not a very well-known story, which is fine. I prefer to be more discreet, and I can see by some of the question that some of the things we're doing to hide what we're doing is working very, very well, because I can sense from the question that people don't fully understand what we're doing, which is fine.
There's some things that you have to keep to yourself.
Yeah, there's something we have to keep ourselves, but people that are in the know, that take the time to take a look at what we're doing, they're impressed.
We'll leave it at that. I'm impressed, and I did hammer you on the dichotomies, and there are some there, but you've explained them. They make sense. And you're calm about it. Oh, that's a good sign. And look, it's Thursday night, and you're on here, and nobody comes on video and talks to us without feeling really good at what they're doing, right? Otherwise, you'd be hiding behind your desk. And that's in itself something. So, Bernard,
I am behind my desk. I am behind my desk.
And listen, thanks for taking time to speak to us, because once the press release came out, you were pretty adamant about let's get this going. So I'm glad we did this, and congratulations on another big milestone. Congratulations on de-risking it, the entire project significantly less, and we can't wait to have you back on.
Thank you.
You've been watching Bernard Tourillon. He's Chairman CEO at HPQ-Silicon Resources. Company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol HPQ, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under UGE. For more due diligence, for more information, especially for those of you who are new to the story, get to Agoracom. Get to the company's hub at HPQ Silicon. Watch all the video interviews that Bernard and I have done over the past couple of years, and you will know every step of the way, everything he said will happen has happened. And that, to me, speaks volumes all on its own. But get their due diligence. And then, remember, Bernard is there. He's a verified CEO on Agoracom, meaning that's his identity. Ask questions, and he'll get back to you with great answers. And you can't get any better access than that. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.